Okay, so this is a test of the conference management system for Group 11. So we'll start by making a new user account. So this program is segmented into several sections. So here we can see the main tabs for the main menu. So first we'll look at the conferences. So we can join a conference, but we can also just create a new conference. So we'll call this test conference, and we'll set it to this date, and we'll set the start and end date. So this will be stored, and also it'll also enforce all events and set the conference to be within this time range. So here we have the general overview of the conference with some basic metadata, and here we're listed as an organizer since we're obviously the only user in the system, so we're the organizer. So we can create an event, but first we need to create a room because we need a room to host the event in. So we can go to this tab here for manage rooms and create a new room. So we'll make the capacity 1 to demonstrate that we can restrict the attendance. So here again we have some metadata, and if we want to, we could amend this and change this to 2, but we'll go back to 1 for now, and we'll go ahead and create an event. So we'll call test event 1, and we'll start it at the time that we started the conference, but we'll try making the end date a little bit later, and it should, okay, first we'll select room. So see there, when we didn't select the room, it gave an error. So we have to select the room, and now, so it gives a different error now because we're doing a check to ensure that the time range of the event is within the bounds of the parent conference. So let's change this to 12:01, which should be valid. Okay, so now we have an event, but we have no speakers. So we can click edit event here, and we can go add speakers. Now we could have done this when we created the event as well, but this is the exact same menu. So we'll go ahead and choose some random user. So let's just choose user 0 here. And when we do this, so user 0 wasn't actually in the conference before because we obviously just created it. So after we invited the user here, if you go to settings, we'll notice that there are actually now 2 users. So there's test, which is this current account, and there's user 0, which we just invited as a speaker. So if we go to here, we'll see that there's indeed that speaker, and there's also the metadata in the front page is also updated to show that there's a speaker. Now as an organizer, I can't actually register in the event. However, I can show a few other features. For instance, we can view the event conversation. Now in the specifications, it mentions that speakers must be able to send a message that automatically goes to all attendees of an event, and this is that functionality. So if we click this button here, it'll bring us to this conversation that was pre-created when we made the event. Essentially, this conversation is quite special because as users join and leave the event, they'll be added to this conversation automatically. So what this allows speakers to do is send announcements and such, and all the new speakers and all the new attendees will automatically be added to this, as well as all the organizers. So in terms of the messaging features, you can obviously send messages. Here we can create a new conversation. Now we also have a contacts feature, and this user is currently new, so they don't have any friends. So what we can do is we'll also send a contact request. Here we'll send it to user 0 again, so we'll log into that account in a moment to try it out. So we've sent a request to them, so now we can't send another request to them. And so we'll switch over to that account right now and see how it looks from that perspective. So we'll go to user 0. Okay, so here we have a bunch of conferences. These are unrelated conferences that were automatically generated for testing purposes, but this test conference is the one that we just made a moment ago in the other account. So notice here, it says that the role is speaker, and we don't have access to these tabs because this user is not an organizer, so it shouldn't have access. So we can go to see all the events. So we see this event in the Bayan Center that we created earlier, and I am listed, well, user 0 is listed as a speaker. And under registered event, we have no events because this account is not registered. However, under speaker events, we do have this. So if we hit this button for view event conversation, we see the exact same conversation that we were just viewing before under the other account. So I can type a message here, and that'll go through. Now, if we go to contacts, we'll see that there's a pending request from myself from the other account. So I can go ahead here and accept it, and just as easily I could have rejected it and the request would have just been deleted. But now that test is in my contacts list, I can go ahead and message them. So I can add, and we'll make this like chat with test, and we'll say like hi test. So now we can switch back to the test account and see what it looks like there. So if we go back here, the first thing you'll notice is that this chat here is labeled unread, and that's because obviously this chat is new and I haven't had the chance to read it. So if I click here, the state will update, everything will update. I can respond to them. Alternatively, I can also mark the conversation as unread if I accidentally clicked it and I want to flag it for later. So I can go do something else, and then later on if I come back, I can unmark that. And similarly, I can also create a new conversation with that user. So this works the exact same way. Alternatively, if I had a group chat, if I had more than one contact, I could create a group chat. So I guess I'll send another message to another one of myself, and I'll switch over that account afterwards and just demonstrate that functionality. Now another feature we have is the ability to archive messages. So this is similar to the feature in Facebook where you can just hide a message from view until someone else replies to you. So after that, so we gotta notice that to warn the user that they won't be able to see the conversation until someone else responds to them, and we can switch over to user 0 just to show how that looks. So I believe it was this one here, that user 0, sorry, the test user hidden. So if we send the message back, if we switch back to test, we should see that there are 2 again, right? And finally, I think the last functionality here is deleting messages. So if you click on a message, you should be able to delete it. So if you click on another user's message, it doesn't let you because you can only delete your own messages. But if I click on this message here, it prompts me to confirm that I want to delete the message, and then I can go ahead and perform that action. Now additionally, I can also show joining an existing conference. So this is going to be from the user's point of view. So I'll join one of user 0's conferences. So I'll join user 0's 0th conference, and we'll register for this event, test event 1. So as a attendee, I see even less tabs because I can't access these administrative tabs. After I register for this event, I could see this tab here, or to be more precise, it got populated. So if I unregister from this event, then there will be nothing in that tab. But if I re-register for event 0, then this tab gets populated as well. So another thing I can do is also download a schedule of my events. So there's 3 different options here. You can download a schedule for a particular speaker, you can download a schedule for a particular day, or you can just download a schedule of the events that you're registered in. So I'll just do this, and this triggers a print dialog. I'll just drag it over from this side. This triggers a system print dialog, and it displays a table, and it triggers your printer. So you can choose to print to a PDF or whatever other means you would like. So now I'll register as another user just to demonstrate that. First I'll reduce the room size here, and then I'll log in as another user to show that it enforces the booking restrictions. So I'll make another user account called test2. Sorry. Okay, so we'll join user 0's conference, and okay, actually first of all I need to reduce the room size, sorry. Okay, so the 0th conference, and this is the one, right? So this is Bayan 1232, so 1232, we can reduce this to size 1. Okay, so now we'll go to test 2. So if we go back to this room here, so we'll see that it says 1 of 1. So if we try to register, it will not let us do that. Okay, so the next thing we can do is we can try to double book a speaker. So we've already booked this user 0 to speak at between 12 and 12:01. So we'll make another event. We'll make another room first as well. Just some arbitrary size. Okay, so if we choose user 1, or sorry, user 0, and we'll choose room 2. So here it says that the speaker is already scheduled to speak at another event, so it won't let us book there. But if we change the time to be 12:01 to 12:02, it should be fine because the speaker was scheduled to speak from 12 to 12:01. Or actually, because it's overlapping, that won't work. So we'll shift another minute ahead, so it should be 12:02 to 12:03. So now one speaker is scheduled at 2 different times, and the system ensures that they don't have conflicting times. Another feature we have is that we enforce the rule that each room must be only allocated by 1 event at a given time. So if we try to create another event here that overlaps in time and also is in the same room, it will not let us do that. So we'll choose Bayan here, and it prevents us from doing this. So the solution to this is you can either change the time range or change the room. So in this case, we can change the room, and if we switch to Bayan 2, it let us books as expected. We can move on to looking at God user accounts, which are essentially administrative accounts. So I'll log in as myself because I've added myself for development purposes. So if you log into these God accounts, you're able to see every single conference in the system. So the God accounts are the additional user account that we've chosen to add. Right, so they can see all the messages as well. So this is very convenient for development purposes, and this is regardless of who's actually in the conversation. So as you can see here, I'm actually not in the conversation, but I can still see the messages inside. And similarly, I also have free reign over who I can message. I have no restrictions at all, so I can just choose someone and make them talk to me. Additionally, God users are organizers for every single conference in the system, so they can't leave the conference because they're by definition in every single conference, so that's not a valid action to take, but they can essentially do anything that a normal organizer can do. So let's see. So I've already covered the additional user account. Right, so organizers can also cancel events by deleting them. So you can just hit delete here, and then the event will just be canceled or deleted. There's another safeguard here, where if you try to delete a room that's already being used, it will not let you because there must be a room for every event. We can also go take a look at the group chat features. So as a God user, I can accept this pending request that I sent to myself earlier, but I can also turn it down, and I can force the user to talk to me. So I'll set a new group chat conversation. So we'll call this test group chat, and we'll invite test2, and we'll also invite user 0. We can also invite user 1, sure. So as we can see here, we have all these users added in. So I'll just switch to one of the accounts just to show it. It'll work for all of them the same way. So if we switch to user 1, we'll see that this group chat, they were just invited to it, and the functionality is expected. We can switch to user 0 and we'll see the exact same thing. Right, so we'll have this test group chat, which we just showed again. This was just a general overview of the system. Not all features were covered in this demonstration. To do that, you should probably run the program yourself, but this covered the core functionality of the system. Thanks for watching our demo.